You're listening to Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. In this installment, Marcy gets a scary envelope, and I consider my past life as a rhinoceros bird.
I get this thing every morning in my Gmail. It tells me what mail is coming that day.
Informed
Usually.
delivery, I believe they call it.
Yes. I
in
have
our house,
informed delivery.
In our house, it's called wishful thinking.
And this morning,
Yes.
I look, and there is a letter addressed to Frankie and I from the IRS.
That's Frankie and me, but I'll take your point.
That's okay.
Okay.
To us.
Okay.
To us as a couple.
Aha.
From the Internal Revenue Service.
Yeah, that would get my attention. I would lose all command of grammar at that point. I agree.
Dude. And it's all I could think about all day. I'm like obsessing over this letter. And I could tell from looking at it that they weren't sending us money.
Oh, dear.
So I just finally went and got the mail just a couple of minutes ago. Open up this big, fat, thick letter. First thing I pull out was a return envelope. I went, oh, great.
Oh, that's not good.
Then I actually look at the letter, and we owe them $5.94.
Is that with interest?
No, with interest, it's $5. It's actually $5.42, but they're charging us $5.94 with interest.
And $2 and something to mail the large return envelope.
God.
Because, of course, you know.
I was so nervous.
Oh, my
we paid
gosh.
$3,000 already. And so I was like freaking out, going, don't tell me they didn't get the payment. But yes, this big, thick envelope for $5.94.
Sometimes you feel like you want to fight the good fight, and other times you think
There is no good fight.
there is no good fight. And sometimes you think that guy in that cabin with making bombs,
Yep.
you don't ever want to do that or hurt innocent people or even rotten people, but you understand. You have a level of understanding. Yes. So
I do have a goat shed, but it's full of hay. I don't think it's a good place to make incendiary devices, fireworks that blow things up. I'm not even going to say the B word.
You're not going to say incendiary. I just had this vision of an explosion with hay and goats and Jonah Hill, the pregnant frog, flying out.
Jonah Hill. I don't know what's going on with Jonah Hill, by the way. There's pictures of him on our Insta.
Yeah. Can Jonah Hill, the possibly transgendered frog, can Jonah Hill have some kind of tumor, perhaps, that's causing him to explode?
I don't know if frogs get tumors. And I also don't know how you test. I don't want to touch him because I'm afraid he'll explode in my hand, or her. Let's say them.
Them. That's perfectly
Non-binary
acceptable.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, not the non-binary, possibly pregnant frog.
But they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Maybe they're just supposed to get big. Maybe they lied to you about how big the frogs would get.
But the whole rest of him is small still. And Channing Tatum is still like 1/8 of his size now.
See, well, maybe because Jonah Hill's
their
eating
size.
all the food.
Mm.
Just eating
Well,
all the
that could
food
be
and
too.
starving Channing Tatum to death.
I don't
Maybe you
know.
should try separating them and feeding them separately. This is a scientific method. Put something like a plexiglass piece in the tank so that they're separated. Feed them each so that you know that Channing Tatum is eating and Jonah Hill is pigging out over there on his side, and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, with all your spare time.
Yep. Well, the Pacostivus, by the way, is so big that he's going to have to go bye-bye somewhere else.
That's the algae eater.
Yes, he's huge. We named him Whale, and I guess it was prophetic.
Eventually, they run out of algae and starve to death.
Well, that's not going to happen in my tank because no one cleans it.
Ah.
Just he does. And it's pretty clean.
Have you had this happen where you post a picture or you see someone else's picture that they've posted on Instagram or Facebook, and they're writing all about, in this case, the cute puppy, but what's actually catching your attention is the fact that the cute puppy is barking at a tank, like a fish tank, on a dolly outside on the grass under a deck. And you think to yourself, why would someone, what do they take their fish for a walk? Why is there fish tank? I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a koi pond and the new fish is acclimating, but still, like, don't explain the puppy without explaining to me why there is a giant goldfish on a dolly in your backyard. Why would I care about the puppy? The puppy makes logical sense.
On a related note,
Yes.
whenever I take a picture that I'm going to post,
Yes.
I always stare at it for at least like 5 minutes to make sure that there's nothing in the background that I don't want people to see.
No comment, no comment, no comment.
Yeah, like socks and stuff.
Oh, socks. Oh, of course, socks. I make
But
you
yes,
sound so bad. I make you sound like you're running a crack house.
I know. I was talking about, random underwear.
I should not.
Frankie socks.
Marcy has a lovely home. People are coming up to me going, is her house really that bad?
No, it is not.
I stayed there, so it couldn't have been that bad.
That's right.
Here's one of those, like, would you if you had no other choice? Like, let's say you had a friend who had gone completely off the rails and was a meth addict. And let's say you got stuck in a snowstorm, your flight left for Florida, you were halfway to your destination, you had no place to stay and not enough money or a way to get to the hotel, and the only place you could go to spend the night for free was your friend's meth house. Would you go?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Meth is scary.
I think I'd stay in the airport.
There's a lot of other drugs that I would go, but not meth.
In retrospect, I must have been nuts. I have a really beloved friend, younger than I, who I believe I may have mentioned him. He married his boyfriend. He divorced the boyfriend and kept the drug habit that he'd married into. And he lost everything. But at one point, before he had lost everything, and allegedly had gotten help and he'd lost his home, he'd lost his car. I wanted to just see him and make sure he was okay. And I thought, well, I'll take him out to lunch. And I probably shouldn't have even walked into that place.
Do you have any teeth left?
No, he did. And everything looked beautiful. He looked a little skinnier than he should have. What he did do was explain to me that former Vice President Dick Cheney was stealing his laptop so he could read his email. And at that point, any fantasy I might have had that he was getting better flew right out the window. But I mean, in retrospect, what was I thinking to even go into the home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose the other half of me goes, well, really, what's he going to do? Like force meth on me? But
no, but I guess there's like residue that it leaves. There are houses that like are on the market, for example, that people can't sell if there was like a meth lab.
Yeah, I think that's if you have a lab. What I know about meth, I learned almost entirely from Breaking Bad, which is probably a bad reason for it to have been on television now that I think of it. So it's not.
Meth knowledge is that it blows up trailers.
The labs do, yes, it does.
Yes,
it's flammable.
That all through New Mexico and parts of Texas and Oklahoma, when you're driving cross country, there are like billboards of just mouths with teeth blacked out that says "Don't smoke meth."
I've never known dentistry to be a problem for anyone with an addiction. Like, I've never known anyone to go, you know what, this is bad for my teeth. I think I'll stop. Nobody.
Now, meth mouth is pretty ugly.
It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. They're like, fine, later, dude, I'll deal with my teeth later.
I care. I'm really tooth vain. I brush my teeth like 8,000 times.
Yeah, but you dropped your bridge down an outhouse at a Fish concert. You never got it back.
No, it was Dave Matthews.
And you never replaced it.
Nope, I haven't. So I just don't smile that big.
Don't tell me that your teeth vain. When are you going to get? Are you going to get
left?
Are you going to get another bridge?
No.
Okay.
Because I'll lose it again.
Well, have them glue it in.
And it was back teeth, so you can't really tell.
Oh, that would drive me crazy.
They're not front teeth. They're back
It would
teeth.
bother me so much. It would torture me every day. I would spend my whole life picking at it.
Oh, nah.
I have the
I just
picking gene. I'd
ignore
spend
it.
my whole life with my tongue just kind of poking where my teeth used to be. Just because I go nuts. I can't. I'm convinced, a picking gene. I know that I have a
I
picking
think that
gene.
goes back to drugs again.
No, I don't do drugs. And that's probably a
know.
good reason not to do
Yeah.
drugs, because if I have a picking gene now, God help me. Picking adolescence was heaven. If you had a picking gene, you could spend all day with,
In the
alcohol and cotton
bathroom.
swabs and going
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Makeup. I mean, plucking things and shaping things. And yeah. Oh, it's terrible. If you have the
But
picking gene, you know what it is. It means that if you have like a little thread on a sweater, pretty soon there's no sweater at all. The only thing that saves me is power tools. It keeps my hands busy
use a
while I
drill.
destroy things. Yes. Like a Dremel tool is heaven for me. It's a form of ritualized machine picking. Like, I am never so happy as when I am removing tiny little bits of paint from something that I should not have touched in the first place. Look, I can get
I
this.
get that.
This is latex. It'll peel off in one big sheet. It's too bad people have stopped going out in the sun and getting massive sunburn, because back when people had massive
Feel your
sunburns,
skin.
they would come to me and say, "Can you get this dead skin?" And I was very happy to do
I'm
it.
disgusted.
I was like one of those fish that lives in the mouth of the whale and kind of cleans its little teeth. One of those birds that live on rhinoceros. Maybe in another life, I was one of those birds that lived on the back of the rhinoceros and just picked all the bugs. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. But I like to believe that there is a world of fellow pickers out there.
I don't know if you were a little rhinoceros bird, then I was the Queen of England. So there you go. My last life. I don't know which pain.
Why the Queen of England?
Because I know that I'm royalty. Actually, it's probably Marie Antoinette, because I can't wear turtlenecks. I don't like anything around my neck.
That's a good
Ever.
reason to. There were
So
plenty of queens that got hanged and beheaded, and didn't just have to be Marie Antoinette. They had a
could have been Anne
festival of
Boleyn, I guess.
all kinds of them, many.
But yes, I was European royalty that was beheaded.
Why are
Because, yeah,
people always royalty? Why aren't they ever a rhinoceros
because
bird?
I'm not now. I may as well aspire in a past life.
That's what it is. Again, file under wishful thinking.
There's got to be a reason why I can't wear anything around my neck.
And why you dumped a guy on the first date for wearing a
Because
puka
it's a
shell
puka
choker.
shell necklace.
So
Yeah.
it's not even just your neck, it's the neck of anyone.
Anybody's.
Anybody
right.
has anything around. And so you've never dated any guy who wore a tie for his job.
That's true.
So the minute,
Actually,
this is the most interesting dating criteria I think I may ever have heard.
yeah.
Good thing you're married, but imagine what your ad would look like now with this little revelation.
My Tinder ad.
Does not dig any guy who ever wears anything around his neck. Huh.
Except me.
Aw.
Aw.
Aw. Sounds like
But
an
yeah,
Elvis Presley song. Won't you wear my girlfriend around your neck? Oh, go. Well,
something about that doesn't compute. But
have you noticed that
it's
there are
okay.
people who people hug you in different places? Have you noticed this?
Yes.
Neck
Yes.
huggers. I can't stand neck hugging.
Speaking of that, I have a child who doesn't let anybody hug,
Okay.
like even parents, like total aversion to it.
Male or female child?
Female child, and I made her take an autism test.
Just because she didn't wish
Just
to be
because
hugged?
she doesn't like hugs. Yes.
Maybe she just doesn't like hugs.
That's what we figured, because she passed the autism test.
Good.
So
There's
she's
a
not
test you
autistic.
want to pass. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, she does not like to be touched unless it's by an animal.
Well, okay. The big cutie went through a many years phase where you'd go to give him, he'd always been very snuggly as a child. And then he hit puberty and you'd go to hug him and you'd get like this hand, like a blocking maneuver.
Yeah.
Halt! We made fun of him. We would go, well, we'd hug you, bud, and then we'd impersonate the hand. until I think he got embarrassed and relented, or maybe he just grew out of it. We are allowed to hug him now. If you've made it this far, chances are you've been enjoying Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast, in which case you might also like my book, She Said What, A Life on the Air. You can find that at your neighborhood independent bookstore or on Amazon. Marcy and I really appreciate your good reviews wherever you care to leave them. Your kind words help the podcast grow. Thanks.